Hello dear students, this is Jackishan. As you all know that we have completed till chapter number 4, that is chapter 1 was number system, 2 polynomials, chapter 3 coordinate geometry and chapter 4 linear equation in two variables. And now in this class, in this part of the video, we will start our chapter number 5, Introduction to Euclid's Geometry. So students, firstly I want to explain that what is Euclid geometry. Okay, Euclid was a Greek mathematician and he has given so many concepts regarding geometry. So the name of this chapter, Introduction to Euclid's Geometry, is related to that. And the word geometry is made by the addition of two words. Means in Greek, okay, geometry word is made by two words, that is geo plus metrian. Okay, geo means earth and metrian means measure. Okay, means to measure earth. Geometry means to measure earth. Measure earth means to measure the objects of earth, the object in earth. Okay, so this is geometry. Okay, and regarding this geometry, Euclid has given so many concepts and his concepts are in Euclid's geometry. Okay, so first topic is introduction. The Greeks developed geometry in a systematic manner. Okay, Greeks developed geometry in a systematic manner means in sequence. Okay, Euclid 300 BC means his time was 300 BC. A Greek mathematician. He was a Greek mathematician, father of geometry. He is also known as father of geometry. Euclid is also known as father of geometry. Okay, so he introduced the method of proving mathematical results by using deductive logical reasoning and previously proved result. Okay, so he has given the method of proving mathematical topics or results by using deductive logical reasoning. Okay, means by logic, by reasoning, he used to prove the theorems. Okay, the geometry of plane figure is also known as Euclidean geometry. Plane figure means, students, firstly we have to define that what is plane. Plane is also known as an endless surface. Like this sheet of paper is a part of plane. Okay, this can be example of plane, but it is part of plane. Okay, so you can give the example like the surface of the board, surface of the table, okay, surface of this paper sheet, all are the examples of plane. Okay, and what are the plane figures? In plane figures you can give the example of like triangle. Okay, triangles are what? Triangles are plane figure. Triangles, circles, okay, rectangles, all these are plane shapes. Okay, all these are plane shapes. Square also, so square, rectangle, triangle, circle, all these are what? All these are plane figures. You can include here quadrilateral also. Okay, in quadrilateral all types of quadrilateral will be included. So the geometry of plane figure means the geometry of all these is known as what? Euclidean geometry. Okay, so pause the video and note it down whatever is written here, because you have to make a proper NCERT notes. So just note it down. Yes, no need to draw these figures. Okay, these I have made to make you understand. Okay, only you have to write from here to here. Okay, our next topic is axioms. Okay, students, here 3 or 4 topic you will study. like axioms, postulate, statement, theorem, corollary. Okay, in this part of the video we will cover all these topics: axiom, postulate, statement, theorem and corollary. Okay, so what are axioms? Axioms, the basic facts which are taken for granted without proof, are called axioms. Means some basic facts are there, okay, and for that facts proof is not required. Okay, so where the proof is not required for basic facts is known as axioms. Some axioms are as follows. Like if you will read these axiom, okay, you will feel that it is basic facts and the proof for these basic facts are not required. Okay, so axioms are, some axioms I have written here. The first is, things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. Okay, things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. How you will explain this statement? How will explain this axiom? See, this is fact that if two things are equal to the same thing, then that things are equal to one another. How you can say that? See, suppose two things are there, like A is equal to B, okay, and there is C which is also equal to B. Means things which are equal to the same thing, means here A is also equal to B and C is also equal to B. Then this will imply that A is equal to C. Okay, means things which are equal to the same thing are equal to one another. Here A was equal to B, C was equal to B. Okay, both are equal to B means both are equal to one another, means A is equal to C. Okay, and also students, axioms are the general terms. Okay, means axioms are true for anywhere, not only in mathematics but it is in practical life also. Axioms are true. Okay, coming to the next axiom, if equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. Okay, how you will explain, how you can explain this statement by example? If equals are added to equals, the wholes are equal. Okay, so see, suppose A is equal to B I have taken. Okay, this A and B are equal, and C is equal to D I have taken. Okay, so these are equals. If these equals are added to these equals, means here I am going to add. Okay, so if I will add, then left hand side will be added to left hand side. It will be A plus C is equal to, in right hand side it will also be added, so it will be B plus D. So see here, with equal to sign, means if equals are added to equals, see, equals are added to equals, then the wholes are equal. Means here wholes is what? A plus C in left hand side, it will be equal to B plus D in right hand side. So by this example you can explain this second axiom. If equals are added to equals, then the wholes are equal. Okay students, just pause the video and note it down also. Third axiom is, if equals are subtracted from equals, then the remainders are equal. Okay, means as we have understood the second axiom, it is also like that. Okay, if equals are subtracted from equals, okay, so suppose one equal I have taken equals A is equal to B, and second one I have taken C is equal to D. Okay, So according to the axiom, we have to subtract it. Okay, so the left hand side will be subtracted to left hand side, it will be a minus c, and right hand side will be subtracted to right hand side, it will be b minus d. Okay, so see here, if equals are subtracted to equals, the remainders are there. We have studied the wholes are equal because there we have added, here we have subtracted, so here we will use the word remainders. So the if equals are subtracted to equals, then the remainders are equal, means a minus c will be equal to b minus d. Okay, like this we can understand the axiom 3. Now the axiom 4, things coincide with one another are equal to one another. Coincide means, students, lying on each other, exactly lying on each other. So suppose I have made one circle of radius 3 centimeter. Okay, suppose I have made a circle, one circle of radius 3 centimeter, and one more circle I have drawn with the same radius, means suppose 3 centimeter, so that this circle will coincide with this circle. Okay, so things which coincide one another are equal to one another. Okay, so I have made two circles so that one circle is coincide to another, and if it coincide, then their measurement will be equal, means things coincide with one another are equal to one another. These two circles are coincide each other, so they will be equal to each other. Okay, students, so this was the axiom 4. Now coming to axiom 5, the whole is greater than the part. The whole is greater than the part. How you can understand this, students? Everywhere in your practical life also, whenever you will see a part of whole, okay, that the whole is always greater, means you can see that suppose it is a birthday cake. Okay, so this will be the whole part. Okay, and if I will cut this cake, like this, okay, so this is part and this is whole. Okay, so the whole is always greater than the part. In practical life you can feel it, you can feel this axiom. Always the whole is greater than the part. Okay, students, so just you have to imagine each axiom in your practical life. If you will feel it, you can understand easily. Okay, mathematics is also the subject where you can feel the things, where you can feel the statements. Okay, now the next axiom 6 is, things which are double of the same thing are equal to one another. Okay, means if you will double the same thing, okay, that will be equal to one another. Suppose one equals, I have taken x is equal to y, and I am going to double of these two. Okay, multiply by 2. Double means what? Multiply by 2 both sides. What you will get? In the left hand side you will get 2x, in the right hand side you will get what? 2y. So see, things which are double of the same thing, means same thing was what? X is equal to y. Okay, and when we multiply this x is equal to y by 2 both sides, what we will get? 2x is equal to 2y, means now these doubles are equal. So you can say that things which are double of the same thing are equal to one another. Okay, students, axiom 7 is what? Things which are half of the same thing. are equal to one another. So how we can understand it? By example, suppose here you will write let, okay, again let x is equal to y, okay, and you have to prove that half of the same thing are equal to one another. So you have to make it half. How you will make it half? By multiplying 1 by 2 both side. 1 by 2 if is half, na, so here we have multiplied it by half. So what we will get? Half x is equal to half y. So see, things which are half of the same thing are equal to one another. So like this, students, we have understood all the axioms, okay. More axioms can be possible there, okay, more statements are possible. So here in axioms, one important thing is there. In axioms, sequence is not important, okay. Means if I will read, so here we have studied 7 axioms which are enough according to your syllabus, okay. And one more thing important regarding axioms, that in axioms sequence are not important, okay. Sequence means order of the axioms are not important. You can write the second axiom firstly, third axiom, okay, means order are not important, okay. Only you have to remember the statements of axiom. What are the statements of axioms, okay. Now students, coming to our next topic, that is postulate. So before starting this topic, postulates, I want to remind you again that whatever is written here, you have to write in your fair NCERT copy, okay. Now postulates. So as I've told you earlier that axioms are general statements, okay, means it is true for your practical life also. In your practical life also, postulates are the axioms related to a particular field. Means you can say that postulates are also axiom, but it is related to a particular field. That field is geometry in mathematics, okay. So postulates are also axiom, but it is related to a particular field, okay. Euclid has given 5 postulates, and for these postulates sequence are very important. Means this order, okay. If someone says that what is postulate 1, so in postulate 1 only you have to give this statement, not other than that, okay, not other than this, okay, understood. As I've told you, in axioms orders are not important, sequence is not important, but here in the postulate order is very much important. Means postulate 1, the statement of postulate 1, if someone says, then you have to write only this statement, not other than this, okay. Now coming to the first postulate, Euclid's first postulate, a straight line may be drawn from any point to any other point, okay. Means if there are 2 points, suppose one point is A and one point is B, okay. If there are 2 points A and B, then a straight line may be drawn from any point to any other point. Means a straight line can be drawn to from A to B, like this, okay. So here 2 point was there, A and B, and I have drawn a line AB, okay. If C and D is there, suppose 2 more point is there, C and D, so here again we can draw a straight line from C to D, okay students. So this was the postulate 1 given by Euclid. Second postulate is a terminated line can be produced indefinitely, okay. A terminated means finished, okay. The word terminate meaning is finish, okay. A terminated line can be produced indefinitely. What does it mean? Suppose this is a terminated line AB, okay, and it can be produced indefinitely. It can be produced indefinitely means from this end it can also be extend, and from this also. Okay, like this. See, AB was a terminated line, but it can be produced indefinitely. Means from this side also it can be produced, and from this side it can also be produced. Okay, students. So this was postulate 2 of Euclid. Postulate of Euclids are very important. Okay, so you have to memorize it in sequence. Okay, now coming to the third, a circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. Okay, suppose here is a point, suppose this point is O. Okay, so we can draw a circle with center O. Suppose I have drawn a circle of 1 centimeter. Okay, from this center we can draw one more circle, suppose of 2 centimeter. Okay, like this we can draw infinite number of circle from the same center with the different radii. Okay, suppose it is R, it is R dash. Okay, like this we can draw infinite number of circle. So from any point with any radius, okay, we can draw circles. So this was postulate 3. A circle can be drawn with any center and any radius. Okay, students. Yes, order is very important. Again, I want to remind you that if someone says what is postulate 1, so you will say that a straight line may be drawn from any point to any other point. Okay, word by word, okay, you will write the postulates like this. Okay, no change you can do there. Okay, now postulate 4. But before that, just pause the video and note it down. Postulate 4 is all right angles are equal to one another. As we all know that right angles means 90 degree. So wherever it is written right angle, that will imply that 90 degree. Okay, and all the right angles means all the 90 degrees are equal to everywhere. Okay, it is equal to anywhere. So 90 degree, how we can make, so like this is your 90 degree angle. Okay, so wherever you will see that right angles means right angles like this. Okay, and the right angles are equal to one another. Okay, means wherever you will draw 90 degree angle, that angles will be equal always. Okay, now fifth postulate. The postulate fifth is very important. Okay, many times in the examination it is asked. So let us understand what is postulate 5. Statement of this is, if a straight line falling on two straight lines makes the interior angles on the same side of it. So firstly, let us understand this postulate part wise. Okay, so our first part is, if a straight line falling on two straight lines. Okay, so let us understand till here. If a straight line falling on two straight lines. So here I have drawn two straight lines L and M. Okay, and one straight line falling on these two straight line, means one line is there which is falling on these two straight line like this. Okay, this is line L, this is line M, and this is line N. Means two straight lines are there and one line is falling on these two straight lines. Makes the interior angles on the same side of it taken together less than two right angles. Okay, now let us understand here. Okay, interior angles means here suppose these two are 1 and 2 and these two are 3 and 4. So one pair of interior angle is angle 1 and angle 2, and the second pair of interior angle is angle 3 and angle 4. Okay, so makes the interior angles on the same side of it taken together less than two right angles. Okay, so here you have to understand the sum of which two pairs is less than two right angle. Two right angle means one right angle is equal to what? One right angle is equal to 90 degree. So two right angle means what? Two right angle means 2 into 90, that is 180 degree. So the sum of which pair is possibly less than 180 degree, either 1 and 2 or 3 and 4. Think about it. So here by observing we can see that angle 1 and angle 2, the sum of these two angles, sum of these two interior angles are less than two right angles, means are less than, if we will add angle 1 plus angle 2, the result is what? Less than 180 degree. Okay, the result is what? Less than 180 degree, means the sum of these two angles are less than two right angles. Okay, so till here we have understood. Okay, like two right angles, then the two straight lines. Okay, sorry, till here. Then the two straight lines, if produced indefinitely, okay, means now since the pair of these two 1 and 2 are less than 180 degree, so we'll produce the lines this side. Okay, if 3 and 4 were left, if 3 and 4 were less than 180 degree, then we'll produce this side. Okay, but here 1 and 2 are less, the sum of 1 and 2 are less than 180 degree, so here we will produce this L and this M. Okay, and by producing it we can see, okay, we can see that these two lines will intersect each other. Okay, so if produced indefinitely, meet on that side on which the angles are less than two right angles. So let us understand this postulate one more time because it is very important. It is very easy also. If two straight lines are there and one straight line is falling on these two lines, so in whatever the side, the sum of interior angles are less than two right angles, means are less than 180 degree, on that side only, by producing these two lines, they will intersect each other. Okay, on that side only, when we will produce these two lines, they will intersect each other, because in other side, like here, if we will produce this line and if we will produce this line, so there the gap of these two lines will be increased. Okay, but that side where the sum of the pairs of angles, interior angles, are less than 180 degree, that side, on that side, these two lines will meet each other. Okay, so this was the concept of this postulate. If you are having any confusion, then just backward the video and watch it again and again. Okay, part wise just try to understand, because the statement is too long. Okay, this postulate is too long, so just try to understand this postulate part wise. Okay, and if you're having any confusion, then ask me in comment box also. Okay, now students, these were the 5 postulates which are very important from the examination point of view. Okay, and yes, in postulate, order and sequence are very important, especially this postulate 5 is very much important. Okay, let us understand our next topic, that is statements. A sentence which is either true or false but not both is called statements. Okay, suppose I have written one statement, for example, if 2 is added to 4 it gives 6. Okay, so this is a sentence, either it can be true or it can be false. Okay, but it is but it cannot be true or false both at the same time. Okay, so a sentence which is true or false but not both is known as what? Statements. Okay, so this statement is true, or some other statement if written here, but that sentence is false. Okay, so either true or false whenever a sentence is written is known as statement. Okay, now next is theorems. A statement that requires a proof is called a theorem. See, in axiom I have told you that proof is not required. Okay, in axiom I have told you the proof is not required, but in theorem the proof is required. Okay, like if one theorem I will write, for example, that the sum of all angles of a triangle is 180 degree. Okay, in triangle the sum of all angle is 180 degree. So this is a theorem because it needs proof, it requires proof. Okay, so wherever for any statement proof is required, then that statement is known as theorem. But in axiom no proof is required, in postulate no proof is required. Okay, but in theorem proof is required. Okay, so if someone asks that what is theorem, so you can give this definition that a statement that requires a proof is called a theorem. Now the last topic for today is corollary. So result deduced from a theorem is called its corollary. Okay, means whenever a result is extracted from any theorem, okay, whenever a result is deduced from theorem is called its corollary. Okay, so this is all that topics that we have studied today. All are important from the examination point of view, and yes, making a proper notes is also very important. Okay, we will see many theorems and corollary when we will start from chapter number 6. Okay, but here these topics are important, their definitions are important. Okay, so one more thing I want to tell you that in description part of this video you will get a link, and from that link you will get your assignment 4. Okay, and that assignment 4 will be from chapter number 4, that is linear equation in two variables. Okay students, all the assignments and the questions of side book, that is from RD Sharma, okay, you will solve in other copy of mathematics, that is in side copy, and the notes and the NCERT question you will solve in one copy, that is your in NCERT fair copy. Okay, thank you students.